Hello folks, so the past few days I haven't put anything out there, partly because of, the holidays around here. And the other part, quite honestly, was because I needed to gather some footage. And after I got this footage, I really had second thoughts as to whether or not I should put it out, because what I'm going to show you is not allowed within the game. Now, you may ask yourself, why am I going to show you something that isn't allowed within the game? Well, the reason for that is I want to show you how some, in particular one of the top 5 alliances, is preventing new players from actually getting anywhere within the game, or really even being allowed to advance within their own map in the game. Now, before you say, but I see you're doing the same thing here, I need to preface this with a story. 2 years ago, we caught this alliance doing this. What they do is they have what we call alternate accounts from their main accounts. They're brand new, fresh accounts that go to new maps in order to scoop up as many planets as humanly possible, and they completely wipe out the new population that comes in-game, and therefore it turns off any new players from actually playing, and it's a shame, really. In their own twisted version of fun, they're destroying any new players, any new competition from here on out in the future. So 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago, actually, we caught them doing this. So what we did was, we did the same thing as they did, only we made a ton of accounts. But instead of going to maps with the purposes of gathering up as many planets as we could just so our main planets could take them over, we set up shop on the maps that we found them on for the sole purpose of fighting them. So far, it's been met with some mixed results, simply because it's not as easy as you might think. And because the game will ban you if you run too many accounts from the same IP address and you open them up too quickly. You got to set up proxies, you've got to set up different browsers, you got to set up different browser profiles, and you got to have a computer that's able to actually run all of these accounts, especially if you're doing it by yourself. So anyhow, that's what we did. And for the past 1.5 to 2 years, we've been doing our best to keep them at bay, but we can only do so much. But what I'm going to do, this is specifically geared towards new players, so you can watch out for this. Now, the planets that I'm going to do this on, they are of inactive players that I have personally confirmed within the target alliance. So the individuals whose planets are going to be wiped, that you are going to see, they no longer play this game. But I'm doing this because I want to show you what in particular the Alliance Infinity is doing to A, destroy this game, and B, advance themselves. And if you see, they're only the number 2 alliance. We're still the number 1 alliance, and we have never once gone to a new map and invaded it for the sole purpose of point creation or staying number 1. We've never needed to. And nor would we, even if we wanted to. We recognized from early on that the only way this game is going to exist and get better is if new and fresh blood actually play. Unfortunately, this viewpoint is not shared by all the members or all the people who actually play this game. So without further ado, I am going to, this is going to be a rather long video because I want to show you this from beginning to end. And towards the middle here, we actually got wiped out by the Alliance that we're talking about here, by the Infinity Alliance. What they did was they used one of the accounts that they scooped up when this map began to help them get planets. The only thing is, I'm sure they promised them that, well, you know what, you can stay in this alliance whenever this map is done, but to the individual, if you ever see this, controlling specifically the Driftwood account, there's going to come a point where you outlive your usefulness to them and they're going to dump you and take over your planets. I've seen them do it before. So anyhow, let's get started here. All right, so what are we looking at here? What's going on? Right now I have this split into 2 screens. These are actually 2 different attacks on 2 different planets. Like I said earlier, both of these, the individual is inactive, and I actually got permission from those inside the Alliance to do this. Like I said, specifically for the purpose of showing you what is going on more often than not with the new maps that are within this game, and what you may or may not do to help it along, or rather to help stop it. Now, as a brand new player, you're really going to be limited as to what you can do, especially when you're going up against someone who's played for years, opens up a new account, and comes into a brand new map with the sole purpose of trying to take that map over. It's not allowed in the game. Players are only allowed to have one account per one individual, but that's obviously not what's going on here, as evident by what I'm showing you. The different names that you see here are associated with different accounts. Now, they are all noob accounts, so they're able to switch from map to map to map. What the Infinity Alliance does is they take their noob accounts, and they have over 200 of them from what I've counted throughout the years. But they've got over 200 of them. They take them from map to map, and they completely wipe out the planets and keep either A, fresh blood from even entering the game, and B, they prevent the advancement of other players who may come from another map coming onto this map. Now, that is allowed within the game after a certain period of time, after essentially the new people that have come in have established themselves on this map. Well, what happens is people come in and they disallow that to even happen. The process for what's being done here is you have at least a dozen accounts. There's more than a dozen here. There's in fact 20 accounts here. Not all of them are shown, but trust me, there are 20 accounts here. What they do is they build them up with a certain chip type, or fodder in specific. What you see here are 3 different chip types. You have Aquin, you have Cell, I'm sorry, not Cell. You have Aquin, you have CUL, and you have MAU. With those 3 different chip types in sufficient quantities, you can take any planet, regardless of shield status, regardless of how many guns are actually on the planet themselves. Just for testing purposes, I have taken everything from a 30-gun green planet, which obviously a setup like this can take, to a 30-gun blue planet that's completely shielded. Now, granted, it takes a lot longer, but it can absolutely be done if you've got the patience to do it. So what happens here is the brand new planets are scooped up with these noob accounts that they bring in, these alternate accounts, to their main accounts. What they end up doing is they take these fresh planets, usually 5 per account, because 5 is the maximum necessary in order to delete the account once the lockdown period is over for new players to come onto the map that are already established onto the game. So after this lockdown period, they come in with their main accounts, they take over the accounts, or rather the noob accounts that they already own with their main accounts, and they do it by either A, using the method that you see here, by making just a ton of attack ships and overwhelming their target, or B, they come in with Cell, which is the most common way to do this, and they just keep bombarding the planet with Cell until they take it over, and they know there's not going to be anybody fighting back. There isn't going to be anybody contesting their ability to take this planet because they already own it. It's just owned with a different account. So you may ask, why have the game admins, why have the game creators not done anything to stop this? Well, that's a good question. I have written to them time and time again. They don't do anything, and either they realize or they don't realize, I don't know, but bottom line is it's destroying the game that they've created. Instead of allowing new players to come in, the Infinity Alliance in specific, and it's the only alliance that I know of that does this. I'm not saying that others don't. Prometheus doesn't. That I promise you. I'm the leader of Prometheus. They do not do this. I do not allow it. But Infinity, who was formerly known as Avengers, they come in via the method, and just they come in via the method in the way that you see here. They completely overwhelm the planets with fodder and firepower of a brand new player who has absolutely no idea what he's doing. And he's learning the hard way, you know, if I can get overwhelmed like this and I can't do anything, what's the point of even playing? And that potential customer, essentially, to the game admins. To the game admins, they're a customer. To us, they're a pure player. But the game loses out on both revenue and another player when Infinity does this, or anybody does this. So what can you do to counter this if you are a brand new player? In truth, there really isn't much you can do. The only thing that I can suggest is, if you're a brand new player starting out, if you have a few extra dollars, spend $20. And I'm not advocating spending money. I'm doing this, or I'm saying this for the sole purpose of saying, if you truly want to try to play the game, the only way you are going to be able to keep a planet is if you make it level 3 blue. You will never keep it as a green. You will absolutely never keep it as a green. It's very unlikely that you'll keep it as a red. But if you make it a blue and make it at least 20 guns, you at least have a fighting chance of preventing this from happening. Because if you log on enough throughout the day and you say, and if you see this happening, you can at least build more guns. And another thing, when you are brand new starting out, to prevent this, keep your planets perpetually shielded 100% of the time. Now, you may say to yourself, that gets super expensive, and it can. Later on, I guess I'll do a video on what you can do to mitigate the costs of shielding, because there is a way to do it. You have to time it properly, but there is a way to do it. Something else that you can do to help mitigate this. Now, granted, there's only so much that we can do as far as jumping around map. Now, something else that you can do to help mitigate this is if you can somehow get in contact with us. I just opened up a Discord channel. We have an existing Discord channel for Planet Capture players. I don't own that channel, but I am a moderator on it. But one of the best things you can do if you can't do anything yourself is get in contact with us. We will try to make it on the map with an account of some sort and see if there's anything that we can do to, if not stop brand new plat, mitigate the damage that Infinity is doing to brand new players coming onto brand new maps. Like I said, there's only so much we can do. And apart from coming in with 10, 15, 20 accounts and trying to make a safe haven map, which we have tried to do before, we were successful in doing it with 2 maps, and those 2 maps flourished with new players, and some of them went on to get much greater accounts as well, and they enjoy playing the game. But we were only successful in doing this with 2 maps simply because the Infinity Alliance has created more accounts to do this with than I've ever seen. From a monetary standpoint, unless you're independently wealthy, it's very, very difficult to keep up with them. Anyhow, I hope this helps out a little bit. Like I said, if you see anybody doing this, going to the game admins, it's pointless. It's like talking to a brick wall. If you can, get in contact with us. Get in contact with any of the members from Prometheus via Discord. Or if you want to leave even a message down here in the comments, let me know what map this is taking place on, and I'll let you know if we're able to do anything about it. A lot of times we are, and there's sometimes we're not. But like I said, we'll do anything we can to help mitigate this happening. Just another quick little tip: if you're a brand new player, don't go for the very expensive capital ships. You're going to go nowhere fast. The people who are established at this game know themselves that the capital ships on a brand new map, unless you have the ability to garner a mass of them, I'm talking 15 to 20 Rabos, it's not the way to go. You will end up wasting a ridiculous amount of resources and money as well. Your best bet for taking new planets, the noob planets that come up, is using MAU and Aquin. Use a combination of the both and bring over a new conquest ship to take the planet once you have essentially conquered it. And to keep enemy players from taking that from you, build up your guns, put your shields up for at least 6 days. Do the 6-day maximum. That will give that planet time to build up. And if you plan on playing for more than a couple weeks, spend $10 or $20, get some titanium, and make yourself level 3 guns, the blue guns. Otherwise, even if your green and red guns are shielded, someone like me, I can still take that, and it's not going to take me a whole lot of time. Anybody who really knows how to play this game and knows the ins and outs of it is going to be able to do it, especially those who have no problem going onto brand new maps, cheating their way to a whole map for themselves and kicking new players off, which, like I've said before, it's not allowed. But then again, they don't do anything to stop it, and certain alliances, namely Infinity, they get away with doing it, and they destroy the will for new players to even try playing this game. So in closing, if you have any questions, comments, leave them down below. If you need help with a specific map, or you see this going on within a map that you're on or you're trying to get on, or if it's a brand new map, let me know down in the comments. Shoot me over a Discord. Do whatever you can to get in contact with me. I will in turn get in contact with my alliance and the other alliances that are willing to help us in stopping this from taking place. I'm not going to name their names here. I'm not going to say what the names of the alliances are, at least not without their permission. So, like I said, feel free to get in contact with me. I will do whatever I can. Please like, share, and subscribe, and take care, my friends.